The next book I read was Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I gave this book 4 stars, which is the same rating I gave what was originally my favourite Cassandra Clare book before this month, which was the Red Scrolls of Magic. I gave them both 4 stars, so like Clockwork Angel is up there. Because if we just ignore the Mortal Instruments, Cassandra Clare is kind of like an okay writer. Like if we just ignore everything about the Immortal Instruments and all of that shit, her books are okay so far anyway. This is the 5th book I've read of hers, and I really liked it. I enjoyed the second one more, which I'll talk about in a second, but this first one was a really good installment to the trilogy. I think it introduced everything well. I ended up liking Tessa, Will and Jem, and also I'm at the point now in the series where I haven't started the 3rd one, but I've read the 2nd one, and I don't know, complicated feelings. I'll talk about it when I talk about the 2nd one, but we're going to focus on this first. This book, if you haven't heard of it, is a Shadowhunters trilogy set in 1800s England and follows an American girl called Tessa who travels to England to look for her brother, and then while looking for her brother, she gets caught up in the mystical world of the Shadowhunters and Downworlders, and she finds out that she has magical powers and she's most likely a warlock. And also there's a love triangle between Tessa and 2 Shadowhunter besties, which is my favourite part of the book. Okay, but even ignoring the love triangle, I also love Charlotte and I also love Henry. And in this book, I actually like Jessamine because of the paracel scene when she fucking killed a goblin. I was like, this weapon is kind of badass, and I was annoyed that it was wasted on a character like Jess, who I don't care about that much, but I only care about her because she has a cool umbrella. I think what made me like this one so much is because of the 1800s setting, and also because I think the love triangle is actually really well written, and I think it's one of the best love triangles I've ever read, which if you compare it with the Immortal Instruments is a big fucking step up, because that love triangle is fucking terrible. Because Clary has to choose between her bestie, who's basically a nice guy, or her brother who isn't actually her brother but who she thinks is her brother for a whole book and still wants to be with him and ends up kissing him while thinking he is her brother, and is upset when he says they shouldn't be together because they are siblings. The next book I read was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, the 2nd book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. I gave it 5 stars and I love it, clearly. Right, this should be one I can talk about. The love triangle. I am obsessed. I cannot decide whether I love Will or Jem more, and that is so satisfying. This is how love triangles are supposed to be written. You are supposed to like all 3 characters and feel the yearning from all sides. Take notes, YA fantasy authors. Cassandra Clare, take your own fucking notes for whatever the Immortal Instruments was. This is hands down the best love triangle I have ever read, and I haven't finished it yet, so it could turn out to be absolutely crap. But right now, it is so fucking compelling, and I am yearning on all sides. When something good happens with one of the boys and Tessa, you're happy, but you also can't help but feel guilty for being happy, because you're what about the other one? If Will and Tessa kiss, I'm what about Jem though? If Jem and Tessa kiss, if Jem and Tessa say I love you, have a romantic moment, anything like that, I'm but what about Will? Will is stuck and can't tell her how he feels. And because Will can't tell her how he feels, and Will can't express that he loves Tessa, and Jem is dying, so Jem also doesn't have enough time with her. So what is going on? And I love it. Okay, I've already talked about how much I love Henry and Charlotte as well, but I'm going to mention it again now. They are so cute together, and their relationship is very small, But I just love the fact that they're like married and they don't realise how much they love each other. And like, because it makes sense for both of their characters that they'd be too afraid to express it, and they'd be thinking like, he's only with me because he needs to be, she's only with me because she needs like a man beside her. And like, I just love it. It's so cute. That bit's not cute. The bit that I just love it because it's very cute when they actually tell each other how they feel, and they are both shocked that the other actually loves them and isn't just with them because they need someone to marry. And like, also Sophie and Gideon, I also like them in this book. So I kind of found Sophie a bit annoying in the first one, I'm gonna be honest. I can't point out why. I just know that I didn't like her that much. But in this one, I think she's really fun and I like her. And like, her and Gideon are very cute. And like the fact that when they were together, oh, my press is open weirdly, sorry. When they were together and he was trying to be like all like official and show some propriety and calling her like Miss Collins and shit, and then he slipped and called her Sophie, I was like,